Story 1. 110 kilograms to 74 kilograms here. It is not hot all the time. Food portions everywhere are massive, like an entire day of food in one meal. Clothes still do not fit right because if they are small enough to fit correctly at the shoulders, they are too short at the waist. Story 2. I feel like I can move around much easier now. I feel the cold much more. There is a huge amount of calories in a lot of fast food. Story 3. I am cold all the time and people are much nicer to me. There are many benefits, as a lot of people have already mentioned. I lost 130 pounds and want to lose about 20 more, but I am not in a hurry. Took about 2 years and I want to be able to keep it off, so I am going slow and steady. Story 4. A lot more confidence. People are nicer to you, and there are many privileges at work as well. People generally offer more opportunities and pay more attention. Clothes are easier to find. I don't need to find something amazing to look good. I wear a simple tank top and jeans most of the time, and it still works great. The health benefits are significant. I don't gasp for air climbing stairs, I don't injure myself lifting anything, and I don't get sick. I can also eat a large amount of food, and people encourage it because they think I'm starving myself. When you are overweight, you constantly feel judged for how much you eat. Now I can say I want to eat a large scoop of ice cream, and nobody judges me. They actually find it cute that I can eat so much and not gain weight. My skin looks better, my hair looks better, and I look younger. The downside has been dating. I get more attention, but it is more lustful and not a real connection. Story 5. People here have made many good points about the positives, and all are valid. The biggest negative I have experienced is that long car and plane journeys are noticeably more uncomfortable these days because I have much less padding to sit on. Story 6. I remember the smooth caress of clothes on my skin that actually gave me goosebumps, instead of the uncomfortable jacket sensation I get nowadays. Also, walking without chafing my inner thighs. Story 7. Lost 70 pounds, down from 250 to 180. I sweat much less now, especially during basic routine daily movements. My knees do not chronically hurt as much anymore. Story 8. I have lost around 22 kilograms, going from 110 kilograms to 88 kilograms. T-shirts feel like they have more room for me. Jeans feel like they would slip if not held by a belt. I had to add a couple of holes in my belt to make it tighter. I like to look at myself in the mirror more often now. The confidence boost is the best part of it. The journey is still ongoing. Story 9. I no longer have a pumpkin head. My shoulders are cute and tiny now in t-shirts, where they were not so much before. I am on my way to becoming one of those tiny little old ladies who can wear little white capri pants and summery blouses to the supermarket, instead of hiding behind shorts and long t-shirts at 59. Then I can pretty much wear anything I want without looking like I am just hiding stuff. And yes, people do treat you nicer. Story 10. Some people treat you very differently. It's really stark. Many people, mostly women, wouldn't even acknowledge my existence when I weighed 380 pounds. When I was 200 pounds, suddenly people were much friendlier. I certainly did not become dramatically funnier, richer, more charming, or more confident during that time. I thought I was cynical about humanity before that experience. Also, the first person who says anything about healthy at any size is invited to listen to my knees crack and pop. Story 11. I was just thinking about this. I have lost 80 pounds since January 2024. At 71, I feel fantastic. The arthritic inflammation in my hands, neck, and feet is gone. My thighs no longer rub together, so I can wear dresses without Spanx. My shoe size even changed. My back feels better. I went from a 42G bra to a 34D. I can easily go upstairs and take long walks. Clothes shopping is fun again. I am stronger and can help my disabled husband better, as I have needed to take on more tasks. I am so grateful for the release from food obsession and embarrassment over my weight. Story 12. Only other overweight people ask me how I lost the weight, and they rarely like the answer. Thin and fit people just tell me, good job. Story 13. I'm roughly halfway to my goal weight and was on the low end of obesity prior to my weight loss. People are much nicer. It is surprising how much better people treat me on a daily basis. Just little things like saying hi, holding doors, being more patient, and simply being kinder. I sleep better. Still not great, but significantly improved. I feel much more rested when I get up in the morning than I used to. My joints aren't nearly as achy as they used to be. Still a little achy, but I'm no longer making old person noises when I get out of bed in the morning. I don't avoid mirrors anymore. But really, the biggest change is that I am much happier now. Being overweight or obese was mentally draining for me. Story 14. I do not have to try on several tops or pants to find something that I can fit into. I do not have emergency shopping trips for unexpected events. I can zip a jacket or button a shirt or pants. I can pull on my jeans without having to do squats to try to get them to give a little so I can zip them. Story 15. I have lost 70 pounds over 2 years, but my brain still thinks I am bigger. When choosing clothes, I still reach for larger sizes because I cannot believe that size 6 will fit me. However, I have more energy, I sleep better, I no longer snore, my sex life is better, people are nicer, and I visit the doctor much less frequently. Story 16. Literally the happiest I have ever been. A frolic. Currently pregnant but hoping to return to my previous weight after childbirth. Story 17. I'm still not satisfied with where I am. I hit my first goal, then wanted to lose more. It's a never-ending cycle. I'm proud of how far I've come, but I still see the old me in the mirror. I am 5 feet 3 inches tall and currently weigh 142 pounds. I was 174 pounds at my highest and dropped down to 137. But now I am back up a few pounds again. Story 18. It's nice being able to trim my toenails without having to hold my breath. I had to buy smaller pants, size 46 down to size 32. My new smaller belt needed 2 more holes to keep my pants from sliding off my rear. Story 19. I can't slap my belly and yell "feed me" to innocent bystanders. I'm just kidding. I'm still overweight. However, I did lose a lot of weight once, and by far the biggest difference is how other people treat you. It's really night and day, whether men or women, straight or not. Story 20. You look in the mirror and do not hate yourself. But then you look at old pictures of yourself and feel bad that you allowed yourself to be so clearly unhealthy for so long. Redness in my skin went away, my face is not as puffy, and I can get up from the table with ease. The confidence boost you get knowing you can do hard work and actually transform your body is mind-blowing. Literal aura boosting. Story 21. I am not fully there yet. However, with the progress I have made, although only a few kilograms so far, I genuinely feel better in myself. I have learned to enjoy different foods such as salad with meals. My belt fits a lot better already, and my knees have not given me as much pain as before. Story 22. I wasn't hugely overweight but was embarrassed by my weight. For the first time in my life, I am comfortable with no shirt on in summer. I feel fit. No real exercise task challenges me in any significant way, and I just feel generally better overall. On the downside, I am very scared of putting any weight back on. I constantly feel like I feel guilty about the things I eat. Story 23. I have yo-yoed several times now and I am almost down to where I want to be. My blood pressure goes up and down with the weight. It feels so good to have it taken and find it is fine and not climbing. Cholesterol dropped to normal, though that is not due to weight. I am able to wear all those clothes I had held onto because clothes are expensive and I do not feel self-conscious in a small, tight t-shirt. To those talking about flexibility, I remember trying to do my favorite workouts when heavier and not understanding why I could not do the same moves. It was my own body blocking my movement. So crazy. Also, a fun fact. I had an irregular mammogram and had to pay for additional diagnostics because the technician captured my fat in the image at first and it looked like a lump. Several $100s wasted on that. Story 24. Less aches and pains generally. Less heartburn. I can walk anywhere, including up hills, without preparing for death. Less illness. Don't get me wrong, I still catch colds, but they don't last as long and I recover much quicker. I don't feel like I'm taking up as much space, like getting into the car or being in any social setting. It's hard to describe that feeling. I feel more confident, and trying on clothes isn't such an anxiety-filled experience. Story 25. I have lost 35 kilograms, down to 75 from 110. I am 5 feet 10 inches tall and 32 years old. Stairs do not hurt anymore, nor do they make me out of breath unless I use them specifically to work my cardiovascular endurance. I can briskly walk with absolutely no issues. My knees do not hurt much anymore. I am constantly cold, but that is all right. It also means I handle summer heat and humidity better. Story 26. I feel better about myself but am always cold. People who do not understand try to bring me down and tell me to eat a burger. Clothes are easier to obtain, and I am generally stronger. Story 27. Swimming is so weird. I used to be able to float easily. Now it is much harder. Every time I swim, it takes me by surprise. Story 28. I lost half my body weight through diet and exercise over the course of several years. One thing I noticed is people treat you differently. Strangers of all genders are nicer. However, I lost some of my thin friends because I was no longer the funny friend. I became competition with an hourglass figure. I lost some of my heavier friends because I was no longer part of their group, complaining about how they could be thin if they just tried a bit harder. But they aren't really that overweight, and anyway, the diet starts on Monday, so let's feast this whole weekend. Not all problems magically vanish, but moving around is easier, and that feels like one less thing to worry about. Story 29. The biggest benefit of being moderately fit is that when I try new sports, I am not winded or exhausted. I went rock climbing for the first time in a year and was able to keep up with others because I maintain a decent level of fitness. Story 30. I feel more self-confident. I hurt, ache, or injure myself much less easily. I am stronger, and people look to me for fitness advice. However, I am still a bit insecure in a different way. Now, I am insecure about being passionate about fitness and the bodybuilding lifestyle because people have accused me of having an eating disorder since I count my calories. They also think that having a very fitness or health-oriented lifestyle, early bedtime and wake-up time, no drinking or only rare drinking, no drugs at all, and not really partying is weird or psychotic. This has made me a little self-conscious. I don't want to be the person everyone thinks is a meathead who can only talk about lifting weights. I talk about plenty of other things. I also feel a lot more comfortable with the idea of taking my shirt off in front of people like a romantic partner or at the beach. I am still not where I want to be. I'm at about 20% body fat and want to get down to around 15% so I have much more visible abs. But these things take time. Story 31. Everything is easier. I am more tolerant of warmer temperatures. Sitting is less comfortable. I wear my pants closer to my waist instead of below my abdomen. Story 32. I lost 60 pounds between April 2024 and February 2025. 240 pounds to 180 pounds through calorie counting. I saved thousands of dollars over this period by not eating takeout or delivery and eating more affordable produce and greens. Old clothes fit again, and it became easier to style myself fashionably. Learning to love exercise and being active helped my overall well-being and mood. Being mindful of feeling not hungry versus full. My confidence improved. I can perform a crow pose, do pull-ups, run long distances, and accomplish things I never thought possible. None of this happened overnight. Losing weight takes a long time, but it is worth it, and you have to stay consistent with even the smallest changes. Story 33. I have gone from 220 pounds to 124 pounds. I get cold much more quickly now, and it feels intense, as if it is chilling me to the bone. Deciding what to wear in summer is easier because I have more options. I am also much less self-conscious, so I no longer wear long-sleeved shirts to hide my arms while feeling warm. I can see and feel bones I didn't know about or had forgotten existed on me. Collarbones, bones on the tops of my shoulders, and hip bones are now very easy to feel. How I am treated. When I was at my biggest, I was basically invisible to men in a romantic sense. Now, I get a lot more attention, but it is unwanted because I have not been in situations where I am looking for it or want it. People seem to go out of their way to be nice to me now. I didn't receive much negative attention before, but now people look at me and smile more. Story 34. When I lost 80 pounds, I also gained 50 IQ points. My jokes were funnier, my ideas brilliant. I became more competent in my job, and people applaud me when I order dessert now. Yes, people can be difficult. Story 35. To everyone here, firstly, I am so proud of you. Even if you gained the weight back, it does not matter. You still did it at some point, which, in my eyes, is a massive accomplishment. To those still on their journey or who have picked up weight instead of losing any, I understand. I feel like nothing has worked. Even going to the gym has made me gain weight instead of losing fat. Yes, I got stronger, but I want to be skinnier. I want to be fit. I don't want to look like a bag of pudding, even if I can bench press a lot and leg press heavy weights. I am struggling hard to lose a few pounds, let alone the 45 pounds I want to shed eventually. Having perspective and the after stories is really encouraging and makes me look forward to the results, even if it takes longer than I want. For context, I am 153 centimeters or 5 feet tall and weigh 83.5 kilograms or roughly 183 pounds. This weight is some people's dream weight, but on my short body it makes me look like the next rising star in overweight competitions. Needless to say, I am unhappy, but working on it, and that is what matters. Story 36. I noticed a couple of things. 1. People looked at me more. They would glance at me and then double take. I also received a lot of compliments from strangers. It's nice, but I feel awful for that little girl who never got genuine compliments because she was considered ugly. 2. Crossing your legs becomes a lot easier. 3. You're allowed to be weird and nerdy. It is considered a quirky personality. 4. You also get insulted more. People assume you're comfortable with it because you're considered pretty or handsome. 5. Realizing that life does not get that much easier after reaching the beauty standard. If you are overweight and reading this, it is okay. You are beautiful, and I hope you take measures to be healthy. Today's standard of fit and skinny is not actually good for you. Please take care of yourself and have a nice day. Story 37. Lost 23 kilograms and became muscular. My God, it's a different world. I've been skinny before, then I gained weight, and people were nice to me back then. The way they treat me seems to go muscular, then skinny, then fat. I sometimes notice people checking me out, and it's such an odd feeling. Story 38. How much less my joints hurt, just in general throughout the day. Even a short walk would make my hips, knees, and ankles hurt. Also, how much it hurts to sit on a hard seat. I was never so aware of the bones in my buttocks until I lost all the padding. Story 39. Smiles now instead of frowns. Flirting instead of making jabs at my expense. Being invited out versus intentionally excluded. Knowing some people would have been mean to me a couple of years ago. When I take off my shirt and they immediately comment on the extra skin on my stomach, it is irrelevant whether it is meant in a positive or negative way. Story 40. Disclaimer. I had a gastric sleeve in December 2024 after battling my weight and binge eating disorder for 15 years. I went from 126 kilograms to 75 kilograms. Sometimes I still feel big, so I try to make myself seem smaller to squeeze through places. I don't have to do that anymore. My butt hurts if I sit on it too long because I have less padding. I was cold-natured before, but now I am freezing. I can walk up several flights of stairs without feeling like I am going to die. I can keep up with my 5-year-old. I mostly sleep better. I work third shift, so this is debatable. My compression socks actually fit me properly and work correctly. My resting heart rate is now between 55 and 65 instead of over 90. Body dysmorphia is simultaneously worse and better because, like I said, I still feel obese. And yet, I am at a weight I never thought I would see again. I am more confident, but I still hide in oversized clothes, which is easier since everything I own is oversized. I was shopping for plus-size clothing the other day when my girlfriend reminded me that I can fit into regular sizes now. I have also fixed my relationship with food. I was working on that prior to surgery, but now it is a lot easier because of how my taste buds have changed. Story 41. Shopping is fun again. It's nice to wipe myself and not have fat get in the way. I work in a male-centered field, and now all of a sudden I am worthy of their time and attention. I do not want their attention. I never have. Most of them are old and unpleasant. People are nicer to me in public too, which is unusual. It is strange to experience both. Story 42. Still have 40 to 50 pounds to go, but people are a lot nicer to you. People who were already friendly become even friendlier. People actually listen to what you have to say. When they describe you to others, they don't just compliment your personality anymore. I know people say it's because you feel better, so you're more confident and approachable, but I've always been extremely outgoing. People are more willing to reciprocate if you're thin, which means attractive. Men don't ignore me in public anymore. Interestingly, some women have been less friendly as I lose more weight. This makes me think those women were only nice because I wasn't competition or because I made them look better by comparison. Some of my male friends' girlfriends or wives are no longer totally fine with me hanging out with them alone. In summary, it confirmed my suspicion that overweight people are not taken seriously as human beings. This is why I roll my eyes when people say things like, "Looks don't matter." I understand that attraction is vital in romantic relationships, but it was disappointing to find out that it also matters in friendships. Story 43. 285 pounds to 115 pounds. I am cold all the time. I wear a jacket in 80-degree weather. I look great in clothes, not so great naked. Yes, I need some surgery. Body dysmorphia is real and it is difficult. Food portions are ridiculous. I can eat a 3-inch sub and be full for the day. One thing that honestly frustrates me is the concept of pretty privilege. It is real and unfair. Also, people get so strange. "Oh my God. You are so skinny. Stop losing weight." This comes from the same people who shamed me for being big. I am healthy now with a normal body mass index. Labs are within range, and my cardiac risk score is minimal. I still eat what I want now, just really small portions. Story 44. There are many positives, but on the negative side, it caused me some trust issues. People treat you very differently, and it is complicated to understand why that is. Story 45. From 255 to 168 pounds. It is mainly personal happiness and self-esteem. I do not know, it is hard to say. Sometimes the determination is that I will never go back, that life is better, a kind of unending drive to keep losing. My wife does not understand it. She did not know me back then and has always been genetically smaller. This has all been achieved through running, so I just keep doing it more and more. Story 46. I went down from 90 kilograms to 69 kilograms in my youth within one summer. I am about 179 centimeters tall. I remember feeling light and full of energy, and most of all, getting rid of all the mobbing and joking I had to deal with before. This is something I will focus on with my kids, so they don't have to live through the same experiences I had in my youth. Nowadays, 25 years later, I am back at around 90 kilograms with the target to go down to 80 kilograms again. It is just hard to find time for training besides an office job and family, which is the usual excuse for dad bodies. Story 47. Sweat less, clothes feel better, mentally sharper. Downside, very cold in the winter without the layer of fat. Story 48. Lost 150 pounds. Went from 390 pounds and I currently hover around 235 pounds. The biggest change is my energy levels are higher due to exercising. Being able to actually run and have endurance is important. I bike 9 miles and run 2 miles back to back almost every night. It makes you feel different. Story 49. A lot of the differences are nice, as others have said. I recently discovered that my previous lack of mosquito bites was not due to my partner being more attractive to mosquitoes than I am. It was due to my weight. I have so many bug bites. So many. Story 50. I am morbidly obese, but I have lost about 75 pounds so far. Pro, I feel better. Less pain in my joints and muscles. It still hurts, but I do not take large amounts of Advil and muscle relaxers anymore. I am pretty sure my liver is happier too. Con. I need to buy new pants again. I am still at a size where they are not cheap. I can wear my shirts too baggy, but pants need to stay up. Clothes are not cheap. Story 51. Pro. I have better balance now and can actually ride a bicycle. Con. I never really understood bone chilling until now. The cold goes straight through you. Story 52. I have lost 185 pounds with a few more to go. I went from not being able to walk 2 blocks due to severe back pain to going for a 2.5-mile walk or jog every morning. I follow a weekly weightlifting regimen as well. I used to avoid stairs but now actively look for them when I am in a multi-story building. I went from size 3X to a large and sometimes a medium in clothing sizes. My blood work improved from alarming results to everything being within normal ranges, including cholesterol. I used to have the car seat pushed all the way back, but now I have moved it about 4 inches forward. I fit in economy airplane seats comfortably now. That said, I feel cold all the time, seats are much less comfortable without good cushioning, and I have loose skin. My face looks my actual age now without the extra fat, so I have significantly improved my skincare routine. Overall, I am much happier. Sometimes I feel like I have too much energy. Story 53. Colorful clothing and more affordable underwear, combined with increased ease of movement and other factors mentioned by people. Story 54. As someone who was skinny, fat, and chubby, one perk I remember was the hellos and the much nicer hi I got from strangers. If you ask for a favor, there is little to no hesitation. Like, wow, I don't know you and you will buy me a drink? You realize we are both straight men, correct? It is like starting a role-playing game where your charisma stats are higher. Story 55. I went from 250 pounds to 180 pounds in my late 30s. It's easier to bend over and put shoes on, pants on, that kind of thing. Clothes fit and look much better on me. But I had to buy new clothes because everything I had became way too big. I started running and stretching, and my body in general feels much better and much more capable. I am very pleased with being both skinnier and much fitter than I used to be. I highly recommend it. I am, however, noticeably colder than I used to be. Story 56. This thread is quite motivating, making me want to start my journey of weight loss now. The only hard part for me is that it is quite a slow process because it makes me lose motivation. Story 57. I went from approximately 250 pounds to approximately 150 pounds. I am a 38-year-old female, about 5 feet 7 inches tall. I am cold all the time. I sit in my office wearing a hoodie with a heated desk pad because I get cold if I am not moving. My butt hurts if I sit too long because most of the padding is gone. I also have a massive fear of regaining the weight. I think that has been the hardest part for me. I constantly think about it because I actually like how I look and feel now. I do not care if people tell me I look good or that I have lost too much and should not lose more. I am happy at my current weight, but the fear of it coming back is huge because I am not sure how I would feel about myself if it did, more than how other people would feel about it. Story 58. Most people will list positive things, and I agree with all of them. So I will give you one negative. While general comfort is much better, it was unpleasant at first because I could feel my bones touching. For example, when I put my legs together, my knee bones felt very uncomfortable. There were more things like that, but I am used to it now. Story 59. I was overweight, then thin, and now a little overweight. I was treated much better in the corporate setting when I was thin. Story 60. As a woman who lost nearly 60 pounds, I can tell you I get a lot more attention. I also receive comments about how good I look and how pretty it makes me appear. Does that mean I was not attractive at all when I was bigger? The hard part for me is that the weight loss was medically induced. I had surgery that went poorly and ended up with a feeding tube. If I could have eaten, I would have, but I literally could not. I am still not 100% healthy and may never be. So yes, I feel and look better, but I am still struggling. Story 61. I've lost around 100 to 110 pounds, give or take. I still have a long way to go to be healthy and reach where I need and want to be. Glucagon-like peptide 1 is what kicked it off for me. It's a miracle drug, and I wish everyone had affordable access to it. Sadly, because my numbers have improved so much, my insurance no longer covers it, so I've been off it for about 3 months. It's been scary because I don't want to go back to where I was. So now I'm using that as motivation to keep moving forward. The biggest change I've noticed is my increased energy, especially after going to the gym. The biggest downside is that because I lost a lot of weight in my face, I feel like I look older than I am, which affects me mentally. Story 62. People treat you differently. I was passed up for years at my job when I was heavy, but when I lost weight, 110 pounds, suddenly I was invited to meetings and conferences. It was really upsetting to see firsthand that the people I thought respected me were disgusted by my size. It makes me so angry. Story 63. I lost about 50 pounds and hope to lose about 30 more. People are much nicer. It feels kind of awful because I am still the same person I was and was worthy of kindness and respect 50 pounds ago. Story 64. The main and worst issue is that people suddenly treat me like a human being now, as if I'm suddenly worthy of respect because I'm no longer fat. People I've known for ages suddenly see me. How could they have missed me? I didn't know you were in this group. Really? Men are the worst offenders. I'm female, and many of them can't even speak to a fat woman without showing their disgust. I'm talking about something as simple as, do you know which train goes to? I'm not trying to get your number or anything, just being a fellow human being, and they can't even be civil. Yet watch them clamor when a thin woman is mean to them. I wouldn't have anything to do with these people now if their lives depended on it, and my spit wouldn't save them. I never thought of myself as unkind before, but I can't get past this, and I refuse to engage with them. The old me would have been grateful for any crumb they threw my way. Why are people like this? If you aren't the right size, color, or whatever, they feel entitled either to treat you badly or ignore your existence altogether. I don't understand it, but I'm grateful to have had my eyes opened. I now watch how people treat others and remove those who fail this test from my life accordingly. Story 65. I say congratulations to all of you for managing to lose weight, knowing that it is very difficult and that we are always tempted by food. Well done, everyone. Story 66. In February 2023, I weighed 129 kilograms. Today, I weigh 77 kilograms. It has not been easy or pain-free. Your mind is your biggest challenge because when you are not eating the amount you used to, it will tell you that you are absolutely about to starve to death, so eat something like a cookie. Honestly, it has been great now being 50 kilograms lighter. I did it all through calorie counting and sticking to one meal a day. I also cut out bread, rice, pasta, and wheat. It is not easy in the least, but I feel better, more content, and at a place where my weight is not the issue, it is everything else. People treat you in a manner you are not used to. People see you differently, and they are more understanding. It has not been cheap. I have gone from triple extra large clothes to medium, so a new wardrobe, which, funny enough, means you wear nicer clothes. More complimentary. It has not been easy to adjust, but I am getting there. If I can lose weight, anyone out there can. Do not use excuses. Do it for yourself. Honestly, the benefits are more than what you feel right now. Story 67. I went from 387 pounds to 190 pounds myself. I am freezing all the time now. It has to be about 95 degrees outside for me to feel warm, and I freeze in air conditioning. Being able to cross my legs and fly comfortably are things that make me very happy. I did not think I would be able to do these things. My energy is infinitely better. I have been tackling more projects around the house that I would have paid people to do in the past. Healthcare professionals treat me completely differently now, which is upsetting. Changing my wardrobe was expensive. I have no clue where to shop since I could only buy plus-size clothes in the past, which meant only 2 stores versus regular sizes where there are many options. I still do a double take when I see myself in a full-length mirror sometimes. Took a long time to see myself as thinner. Story 68. 300 pounds down to about 200 pounds. I can wear normal pants now, not only ones with elastic waistbands. Shopping for new, better-fitting clothes was nice. I can get out of bed instead of rolling out of bed. I don't sweat randomly for no reason anymore. I am more cautious of what I eat now. Story 69. It feels amazing. I am not hot all the time, I sleep better. I do not need most of the medication I used to be on, and I can wear whatever I want with confidence. Story 70. Went from being invisible to people wanting to spend time with you. You get treated better. After getting a hair transplant and becoming shredded, all of a sudden people want to be around you, and you get a lot more attention, not just from girls but from everyone in general. Honestly, I am not used to it and it catches me off guard. I was always used to being ignored and overlooked until recently when everything changed. Story 71. I feel exactly the same, still self-conscious and insecure. But I can buy some cuter clothes, which is nice. When my chronic pain issues flare up, it is not as bad, and I recover faster, which is nice. Story 72. I have been on both sides. It is really weird. It is like different groups of people become attracted to you. I do miss my big butt, though. Story 73. Still overweight but lost 20 kilograms. Men are being creepy to me again. I did not miss that. Before I get hit with downvotes, I know it is not all men, but I have only ever been creeped on by men. Story 74. My knees and ankles do not hurt as much anymore. I have gone from approximately 250 pounds last year to 200 pounds now, and the differences are remarkable. I am more flexible, clothes are more comfortable, and I find it easier to like how I look. Story 75. It feels amazing. I look the way I have wanted to for years in my clothes. I am finally comfortable in my own skin. Everything is easier: walking, running, shopping, working, exercising. It is so worth it. I lost 50 pounds and it has changed my whole life. I wish I had made the decision sooner. Story 76. At some point, I started feeling so light on my feet that I felt like I could keep going and going on days with physical activity. It was amazing. Story 77. I no longer sweat heavily after a walk. I was overweight in university, and a 10-minute leisurely walk to my lecture hall in cool fall weather would have me dripping sweat the second I sat down. Story 78. As someone who has gained and lost a lot of weight several times in my life, most of the differences are not that drastic. It takes me gaining 20 or 30 kilograms for the negatives to stack up enough for me to bite the bullet and cut down. Whenever I get too heavy, things like rolling over in bed become more of a hassle. When I've been at my leanest, things like hip bones digging into chairs become noticeable. Training Olympic weightlifting, when I'm over 100 kilograms, the stress on my body during explosive exercises is much greater. 100 kilograms and below feels so much more athletic. Pull-ups are the exercise affected most drastically in difficulty with gaining or losing weight. When I'm at my heaviest, around 130 kilograms, I definitely feel the worst about myself visually, but as someone who's always had low self-esteem, that's something I expect to feel. Apart from before I started lifting, my time at those weights is also my strongest and most muscular, which is at least some consolation for being so heavy. At my lightest weight of 70 kilograms, which I've only been down to once, I felt far too skinny, and seeing my reflection was kind of alarming. I felt like a lanky skeleton at 183 centimeters, 6 feet. And how small my frame actually is was made very clear to me and made me feel worse about being heavy before. I think everyone who's been overweight since they were a kid believes they also have a large frame and that the amount of fat isn't so bad. For a lot of people, this is unfortunately not the case. When I'm at a medium weight like 90 to 100 kilograms, I feel my best in terms of appearance and performance. I don't feel fragile and skinny, but I don't feel overweight. This is my ideal range to be in, and one I desperately struggle and fail to stay in. Story 79. The delusional thinking made me believe that going up to double extra large was not fat. I am a 5 feet 7 inches male and reach 220 pounds. Now I weigh around 145 pounds. I have found that it is much harder to find small-size clothing because everything is made for bigger people. Story 80. I am a woman in my 30s. I was overweight from ages 10 to 19. Growing up, I was either teased or just not noticed. I believe everyone needs an unattractive or overweight phase in their life, to be honest. I really got into computers and became less focused on what others thought of me. People are nicer to me now that I am more attractive, but I still feel like my younger overweight self in a fitter woman's body most of the time. I am doing well as a software engineer. I moved from the United States to Europe and have a lovely husband and baby daughter. I plan to raise her so that she does not get too caught up in her appearance. Story 81. I am never out of breath. I went hiking at my heaviest at a high altitude. I thought I was having a heart attack because I could not breathe going uphill. Now, when everyone else has to take a break, I am confused. You all tired? What? But I am not. Story 82. Exercising is easier. Walking past mirrors does not make me wince. Jeans are as comfortable as leggings or track pants. I can buy clothes in regular stores. I feel less self-conscious and more confident. I do not fret about being the biggest person in the room. 53-year-old female, reduced weight from 101 kilograms to 73.5 kilograms using Manjaro over the last 12 months. Story 83. 75 kilograms gone and I feel lighter, mentally and physically. I have so much energy. I wake up bouncing off the walls. It is so odd after feeling heavy and sluggish for many years. Portion sizes look enormous now. I cannot believe how much I used to eat in one meal. Differences I have noticed as a female. Men are much nicer and women are meaner. Men will look me up and down and smile. Women do the same but glare. I miss feeling invisible in public. Story 84. People are much nicer to you, and strangers will act like you exist instead of completely ignoring you. Story 85. 243 pounds to 180 pounds and aiming for 10 to 15 more. I really like how clothes fit now. I've always been on the curvy side, and now my actual shape can be seen in different outfits because I'm not covering up as much. Since entering my 30s, I've been trying to wear clothes that I like, but had always avoided because of the fear that they wouldn't look right on me. It has been a good confidence boost to feel cute in a wider variety of outfits. Story 86. I weighed 350 pounds in 2021. Since then, I have lost about 130 pounds. Everything is different. Mental changes were almost as hard as the physical changes. It is very hard to be overweight your whole life because everything you do is tied to your weight. Everything you do at 350 pounds, walking, sitting, eating, social gatherings, vacations, literally everything, involves thinking about your weight. It never leaves you. Suddenly, you have to find a new focus. And it cannot be anything you have been obsessed with your whole life. Not food. Not watching television while sitting on the couch. You have to work every day to avoid going back to old habits. It is tough, but it is getting easier. My mind has learned not to think about doing things the old way. I have learned how to use my new shape. I have started running a lot. I breathe easily. I do not snore. My heart rate, blood pressure, blood sugar, and cholesterol are all perfect now. So, to summarize, everything is different. Story 87. Unsolicited, obnoxious comments are what I have noticed. For example, from a relative. Girl, you have to put some meat on those bones. You are so skinny. I weigh what I weighed in my 20s. Just because I am 50, should I be fatter? Never mind that I am almost 5 years sober, healthier mentally than I have been in 2 decades, and infinitely happier. I do get a bit angry, but I just ignore them. Story 88. I have lost just over 80 pounds. I love that I am not avoidant of movement because it is not as physically taxing. There are many things that I would not have expected to feel easier to do. While I definitely feel better physically, I think I am currently struggling with looking different. For so long, I worked on loving myself and my appearance the way it was. Now, looking like an entirely different person, it feels like I have to start all over again. Story 89. Confidence definitely. I look much better in clothes compared to when I was overweight. I never really tried to put together an outfit. I just wore clothes that could cover my silhouette. Story 90. I was the definition of skinny fat, and I absolutely hated my gut and looking at pictures of myself. I decided in January to commit to losing weight. I have lost 30 pounds, from 205 pounds to 174 pounds as of yesterday, through diet and exercise. It is a night and day difference. I sleep better, wake up with more energy, clothes fit better, and I look better. I have much more confidence. My goal for the year was to be 175 pounds, but I think I can lose another 10 to 15 pounds easily and get back to the weight I was in college 10 years ago. The biggest thing was that I stopped eating fast food and drinking soda almost entirely. I still have fast food occasionally, but I haven't had soda since January and I do not miss it at all. The first couple of weeks were rough because it was all my body wanted. But once I broke through that wall, it has been smooth sailing. Soda actually seems kind of gross to me now. Story 91. I used to weigh 249 pounds at 5 feet 4 inches. I had bariatric surgery and experienced some complications. I dropped to 85 pounds, had the surgery reversed with a feeding tube, and gained back up to 105 pounds. Then I got pregnant twice and went back up to 215 pounds. I am now in the process of losing the weight again. When I was skinny, I noticed I was cold all the time. I could fit into all the cute clothes, but there was no point because I was freezing constantly. However, I was able to move around much earlier and my joints hurt less. Story 92. Far more energy. Now I can do 12-mile hikes without batting an eyelash. Before, I was tired just walking a few blocks. Also, a lot more confidence. Story 93. From 366 pounds to 190. I find I like moving around now. I didn't have an exercise routine, and I am looking into starting one because it is fun. That's different. I like clothes and makeup now. Before, I wasn't interested. It is not as time-consuming as I thought to look nice. Beyond the physical experience, I enjoy thinking about food and consumption with discipline as well as pleasure, and I never want to change this perspective. Cons. Just other people, not everyone but some. I am a cisgender female. Women are judgmental sometimes. Story 94. I still have some way to go, but it feels great. More stamina and endurance. I completed my first 3-kilometer endurance jog yesterday. I started training a month ago. Overall, my fitness has improved. Story 95. Weight changed from 245 to 148 pounds, then increased to 160 pounds currently. People treat you much better and are generally nicer. I have significantly more energy. I no longer feel trapped in my own body. Intimacy is much more enjoyable. Story 96. Weighed 226 pounds, now down to 157 pounds, and the difference is significant. I can walk easier, feel lighter, and do not get winded going upstairs. Additionally, I can wear cute clothes now that I am smaller. Overall, it is a good feeling. Story 97. Lost 30 kilograms already. Want to lose 15 more. The difference is massive. Clothes are more comfortable and I feel better. Sometimes I even get scared at how much I used to eat. That's not to say that I don't occasionally have a meal with more food than I should. But I don't treat this like a prohibition or anything like that. I tried doing that once and gained all the weight back. I have been educating myself on portions and calories, and I think it's working best for me. It's slower, but it lasts way longer. I still have issues with my body, and 9 times out of 10, I see myself as a horrible, ugly, disgusting creature in the mirror. I don't know if this will ever change. It's getting better, though. Story 98. Summer is much more enjoyable and cooler. I like to take off my shirt now. I have better energy and can sleep on my stomach again. My spouse says I do not snore much anymore. Story 99. I used to not be able to walk for longer than 10 minutes without having to breathe as if I were running. It was a struggle. Now I walk all around town to run my errands, and my breathing barely changes, if at all. Feels really nice. Story 100. 230 to 160 here in about 2 years. I feel much better physically and mentally. I work out daily, and that helps tremendously with how I feel. I've noticed my body is more toned, and clothes fit better. I am more confident than I have ever been. I feel like more people notice me. The hardest part is the body dysmorphia. I still sometimes see 230 pounds staring back at me in the mirror, but when I look at progress photos, I am still amazed at the difference. Story 101. My joints do not hurt. I can get down on the floor to play with my child, and it is not a struggle to stand up. I was thin before pregnancy, gained a lot of weight during and after, and have lost the weight. The difference in mobility is night and day, as well as how people treat you. Story 102. I noticed quite quickly the difference when I took the stairs. I could feel the impact on my knees decreasing. I had only lost about 20 pounds, and it was noticeably easier to go up the stairs. Story 103. My username used to be ironic. I am nearly 50 years old, was a combat athlete 15 years ago, and fought at welterweight. I moved to the United States for a few years, gained 40 pounds, and continued gaining steadily after I moved back to Canada. I finally took charge. of my health last June and have gone from 260 pounds to 195 pounds, currently having put on about 15 pounds of muscle. At 5 feet 6 inches, I am still not looking great on a body mass index chart, but I have abs again and a body fat percentage that I am happy with. As expected, I physically feel better. I have less pain in my joints. I can do almost anything I want without worrying about my heart, and everything physical is much easier now. My wife does not have to pretend she is attracted to me. The biggest surprise is that I am no longer terrified of bumping into anyone I used to know from when I was fit and fighting. I did not even consciously realize that was a problem or how low my confidence was. I still have some work to do in that area, but being able to go out into the world without feeling embarrassed was a huge and surprising revelation. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.